Beijing is a big city with a long history in traditional Chinese culture. It is political center of China, but it is more than that. Here you can not only discover the fascinating traditional Chinese culture, but also modern art. You can also see how Beijing people cope with the collision of the two. Climb the Great Wall, roam among hutongs. Beijing is not only about Asian traditions. It is a megacity marching into the future. It is full of well-preserved traditions, but is still brimming with diversity and tolerance. Everyone can find their own places and sense of belonging in Beijing. You'll never be alone. In Beijing, you can literally put yourself out there to experience a new culture and get to know China. You get the chance to step out of your comfort zone, try new things, meet new people, make some local friends. You can try Beijing cuisine, but if you're reluctant to do so, it's easy for you to find foods more to your taste in this international city. What's more exciting awaits you here is the experience of studying in UIBE, a Chinese university with international atmosphere. This university is located in Chaoyang District, between the 3rd Road and 4th Road of Beijing, near a residential block. As a TBC student studying UIBE, you get a lot of privilege where students elsewhere don't get. For example, the convenience of 15-minute walk distance to the mall, 20-minute drive distance to Sanlitun, a hip place with restaurants, clubs, and shops. You can also study in the cafe inside the international building when the finals approach, playing soccer in the stadium, celebrating with friends after midterm exam. Outside the UIB campus on the West Street, there are many restaurants and delicious snacks for foodies to fill up on. For daily life, we have Chinese roommates who are local UIB students to help the international students with their life and adjusting in China.
So I think that my relationship with the Chinese roommates has definitely grown, mostly because of the roommate activities. Like the most memorable one, I think for me, was the Summer Palace. We spent the entire day just walking around and it was really nice out and we just got to talk a lot and yeah.
My experience with having a Chinese roommate was really great. I think it was one of the best things TBC has to offer. And it was nice to have the chance to develop such a close friendship with someone from another country, which was totally new for me. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I never thought that I would become as good of friends with Chinese people as I have become. My roommate Marshall and I are very close now, and I consider him one of my best friends now. It's just been a very worthwhile and eye-opening experience.
I think the place that we're all going to miss the most or a lot is a place that I ate approximately once a day for 4 months. We call it Green Bean. We don't actually know the full name of the restaurant. They have the best green beans with ground pork and spice on rice, and it's just this bowl, and it's like $3, and it's so much food, and you eat it, and then you feel satisfied, and then you go back the next day, and you have the same feeling. It's consistent, and I think has become a dear part of my family.
I think for me, one of the biggest things that I've taken away from China is coming from Chicago or other students coming from New York. You think you're from a city that's really fast-paced, and when you come to cities like Beijing, you can't even fathom it until you get here how fast-paced life is, because there's so many people, things have to move fast, and I think that's one of the things that I've learned the most and learned how to cope with the daily fast life of living in Beijing.
For academic life, although that we are in China, we do not require our students to have any knowledge of Chinese. We will be offering Chinese language classes of all levels for our students. There are also other classes such as Chinese history, art, religion to help the students to better understand China. We have all kinds of resources to help the students learn better.
In order to really understand the world, because we're becoming a more connected and international place, I think that it's more important than ever to come to China and to learn the language. Really to learn any language, but this is the most relevant one you could possibly learn.
Apart from the obvious beauty of this country, from the landscapes, and really extensive history and culture. The food,
but it's also the connections with people in between the food eating, right? So like my connection with the IE at my favorite restaurant here in Beijing has everything to do with why I like being here. I love the IEs. I think the IEs are what have brought me back for my third, going on fourth semester studying abroad in China.
I think that given the changing nature of the world, it's absolutely crucial not just to analyze China from an intellectual point of view, but to personally come and understand and experience this part of the world and this country and its people.
the thing I appreciate most about having studied in China or still studying in China is meeting Chinese people my age.
Is that Chinese society and the Chinese people, especially the young people, are more like the young people in the US than I expected, at least, and more than they're made out to be.
Hi. Okay, well, I only have like a small frame, so wave like to your right.
What?
No, wave like right there.
I realized that all these preconceptions that I had about the Chinese people and the country itself were completely wrong, and now I think back on them and it's just like silly for me to even like consider that I felt that way at one point. I've never been to a country where I've had my ignorance met with so much patience.
There are just so many intricate, subtle details in the Chinese society that is not portrayed in foreign media at all. When you come here and you live it, you realize how much you don't know. Would I suggest my fellow peers and students to come study in China? That's a heck yeah, I would. Because when it comes to studying in China, there's already a small quantity of students that do this. And that number of students is shrinking. So when you come to China to study as a student, you give yourself an edge that an already decreasing number of students have. That makes you stand out among thousands of other students.
It's incredibly important for American students and people looking to build careers and go out into the world to understand places that are completely different from what they know.
Yes, I would recommend coming to China. I think you have to come knowing what you're going to get yourself into. I think a lot of times, you know, we travel to places and don't know what we're going into, and then expect everyone around us to, you know, sort of cater to us and to cater to our experiences.
Yes, but also no. Because this is a place where you can come to learn, to take away parts of yourself that don't need to be there. That you learn how much excess you carry as an American. And if you're not willing to come here and to embrace that experience for what it really is, then don't come here.
Putting yourself in an entirely new culture, an entirely new language, and an entirely new society, it teaches you how to be compassionate, in new ways that you've never thought of.
You have to be willing to take the responsibility of being yourself in a country that's not your own.
And it will just give you an experience that you'll never forget.